Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Lisa and this is Return to Love. On this channel, we are returning and coming back from depression, obesity, anxiety, restlessness, and overall feelings of unfulfillment. We're trying to be happy, healthy, thriving, and just connected with God again. The more I meet new people, I realize we all want the same thing: to love and to be loved and just to be happy. So if you think about it, why aren't we then? If you ask me, it's because we've just moved too far away from the origin of true love. That's why I'm going back. Not back where I came from. We're taking a journey towards the one that loves. We're taking a journey back to loving ourselves. So if you are interested in being a healthier, better version of yourself, to reconnect with God and to do all the things that you were actually created for, then take this journey and return to love with us. So today I want to talk about the reasons why I think I just, moved away from God. As I said in my intro, I reached a point where I just completely moved away from God, and I've been feeling everything that I don't want to feel: restless, broken, depressed, unloved. I've lacked self-control in the area of appetite, in how I spend my time, and all of that. And I'm so sick and tired of it. I am I have been trying different things to reconnect and to reestablish a better relationship with God, to reestablish myself as a healthy person, to do things to get myself back on track. For those of you who do not know, for the last 4 years, I have suffered from extreme chronic depression that started off as postpartum depression, and I just have lost myself. Now, I moved away from God, which is the most dangerous thing you can really do when you've lost yourself. But thankfully, His grace and His mercy really does. It keeps chasing after us. I can feel how much He wants me, how much He wants to love me, how much He wants to save me from myself, but I've been resisting it. I've wanted it, but I have been resisting it at the same time. So, that being said, I want to share 4 of the main reasons I moved away from God. Let's get right into it. The first reason being anger. I've been so angry with God. I have been so angry at God because of my situation, because things didn't work out the way I expected it, because my life didn't turn out at all how I had envisioned it, and it made me angry. It made me angry because I felt like God had promised me something good. God's promises speak about, the good things He has for His children, and I just didn't expect everything the last 4 years to be so hard, so broken, and just such a big mess that I felt like I couldn't come up from it. I tried and it felt like I couldn't come up from it. And this turned into anger, like resentment. I was just so angry at God, and it made me feel like, what's the point of, what's the point of this relationship if you're just constantly going to be disappointing me? And that brings us straight up to the second reason: disappointment. I've been so disappointed in God with everything that has been going on with me. For those of you who have never suffered from depression, it really takes over your life and it affects every single area of your life. And this has caused me to just be so disappointed in how my life turned out and how everything happened. And I just always felt like I was a driven person. I always felt like I had potential to do the things that I had set out to do with God's help. And I was just so disappointed. It felt to me as though God wasn't helping me. It felt to me as though my prayers weren't being answered. It felt like every time I was asking God to get me out of the situation, to restore back my proper mental health, to give me a better life, to help me to come back that I just wasn't. It felt like I would come out a bit and sink back deeper, come back a bit and sink back deeper. And this continuous cycle of disappointment after disappointment, one thing going wrong, then the next, one challenge after the other, turned into me feeling completely betrayed by God and so disappointed to the point where I felt like, again, what's the point of having you if my life has to look as bad as it does? So that's my second reason why I feel like I started to stray and I started to feel like there's no point of having you if it feels like I am not benefiting from you. So the second thing was disappointment. Point two brings us straight into point three. The disappointment and the feeling of you're not even helping me. I'm asking you for help, but you're not even helping me, brought me to a point where I started to become self reliant. Yes. Makes no sense, but I was still doing it. Yes, I started becoming self reliant. I prayed less. I became less, I just was less spiritual. I was less connected. I didn't feel like my prayers were making a difference anyways. So let me just try to see what I can do. Let me see how I can fix this. Let me see what I can do to get a job. Let me see what I can do to start a successful business. Let me see what I can do to lose all of this baby weight. Yeah. Let me see what I can do to just get my life back together. And even when it came to the point of restoring my relationship with God, because I always knew that I needed Him, I always knew that moving away from Him was not smart. Although I kept doing it, I knew it wasn't smart. So I still set out every now and then to restore my relationship with God. And even that, I tried to do all by myself. Like, what can I do to reconnect with God? What can I do to hear His voice better? And don't get me wrong, you definitely have a part to play in all of this, but I definitely took control of my life when God was supposed to have it, and I completely moved away from His guidance and His love. That was the third reason. And of course, that led into the fourth reason, which is I completely stopped trusting God. Now, I never admitted that to myself, but my actions truly showed that I didn't trust God. Anytime something would happen to me and I couldn't see the beginning from the end from the beginning, I started to panic. I started to just lose myself. I started to sink into the black, deep pit of depression. I started to just, be so frantic and all over the place. And I suffered from just being so restless and anxious all the time. So I started to realize that I definitely didn't trust God anymore and that I had completely lost faith in Him. Like I said, I never sat down and analyzed my feelings, but as I sit and think about it, that's actually what it was. So many of you may be able to identify with the fact that you're always anxious when something happens and such. And if you're a Christian, you know that it is very important to trust God. And when you stop trusting God, you kind of lose the stability and the hope that you have and the peace that He gives when you trust Him. So these are the reasons why I just moved away from God, because when you don't trust somebody anymore, you don't rely on them, you don't, depend on them, you don't look for them, you don't, you just act like you can do it all by yourself. And this has caused me to move so far away from God that now I am on a journey back towards Him. Now, this can happen in a day, a minute, an hour. God is right there. He is desperate, y'all. He is desperate. Blows my mind because He's perfect. He is God. He is the creator. Yet He is the one that is constantly chasing after us. His goodness is literally running after us. He still blesses us. He still helps us. He still forgives us. He still provides for us. He still protects us while He's the God. And we are the creatures, and we're the ones who's supposed to love Him, trust Him, worship Him, and we're the ones messing up, sinning, and He's still there. So realizing that God is the only true source of happiness, joy, and all the other things that I am trying to create for myself, or all the things that I am trying to learn or establish in my life, like discipline and self control, and all these things are just a result of having God, knowing God, and being led by the Spirit. These are things that only come from having God. And moving away from Him makes you not enjoy the benefit of what God has for you. So, on this journey that I am on, I have committed myself to daily sharing with you the things that I do to chase back after God and to long for His heart and to connect with Him. Like I said earlier, every single area of my life has gotten completely affected by my depression and the fact that I moved away from God. And so it is needless to say that every area of my life right now is in need of improvement and a serious upgrade. So, because of this, I know that I have to start with the origin, which is God, the origin, the starter, the beginner, and the finisher of my faith. Because I have tried it by myself. It didn't work out. We're 4 years later. I'm still obese. I am still suffering. I still don't have a job. And I've just completely lost hope. So, as late as I am, I'm here, guys. I've reached. I've reached a point where I'm like, I surrender all. I want to commit my whole life to Him, and all the other things shall be added onto me. I want to start trusting that things that I want, the desires of my heart, once they're in line with God, that they shall be added onto me if I just learn to put Him first. Follow me. Subscribe if you haven't already. Like, seriously, you watch my whole video, like, subscribe to my channel. Subscribe to my channel. Hit that notification bell so you get notified every single time I post a new video. Share this with your friends. I know there's a lot of people struggling, like, why are you keeping this video to yourself? And I can't wait. I can't wait to see the transformation. I can't wait to read your comments as we go along on this journey and you transform as well as I do. See y'all.